morning, everyone, but you can catch Michelle's live video, recorded video on the page, of course, and I highly recommend it. There was some absolutely incredible points and tips that she gave in that interview, so please check that out whenever you get a chance. But for now, I have Nikki Syme here with me. So welcome, Nikki. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
That's okay. Thank you for being here. So as you know, we've got experts from all over the world joining forces to support families like yours to thrive in the current crisis and to ensure that we can create a happy home within the current crisis too. And, you know, one of the foundational aspects of a home that can get missed sometimes, you know, we focus a lot on our relationship with our children, and that's definitely crucial. But if we don't have a solid foundation between mother and father, between the parents, partners in the home, then nothing, I don't think much can be built on that in terms of creating the happy home. So Nikki, I'll let Nikki introduce herself, but that's why I have Nikki here today to really help us on that relationship front. So Nikki, for those watching that don't know you, can you just share who you are and what you get to do in this world?
Yeah, sure. So I love that you actually touched on that first in regards to we forget about the relationship that we have with our partner. And it's, you know, it's something that I always come back to, is that those kids wouldn't be here without Gary and I, you know, so that's the relationship that actually needs to take priority a lot of the time in order to ensure that we're a solid front, you know, we're coming together and really supporting each other and having each other's backs and being seen by our kids as a united front. And then they don't kind of like have the, the kind of edge over us kind of thing. They can see that mummy and daddy are together and we're in it together. And yeah, so it's really, really important. But it is something that's often forgotten and overlooked, is that, you know, it's all about the kids. It becomes all about the kids. It's like, no, it has to be about your relationship first and then the kids. So for those of you who don't know me, hello, my name is Nikki. I'm a leading love and relationship expert, and I'm all about empowering men and women in love. So predominantly I've been working with a lot of single women and supporting them and actually building the relationship and the foundation with themselves to be able to attract an incredible love. And I also work with couples who are possibly in a state on their relationship or a phase in their relationship where it's kind of just surviving, it's kind of ticking over, it's a bit of Groundhog Day, but they're really wanting to take it from that survival state to a thriving state. And it's amazing. I love that I get to do this. It's such a fulfilling gift that I get to give to the world. It's beautiful.
Yeah, of course. And so I guess, you know, the whole reason we're here today is to really focus on how we can support each other through all the challenges we're facing. So I'd love to know, firstly, with all of your clients, all of the people that are coming to you at the moment, what are the current challenges and trends that you're seeing between couples and in relationships at the moment?
Yeah, cool. So probably the biggest thing is that there's a lot of people out there who have gone from having really independent lives from their partners, you know, having a life together but still having very much their own lives, to going all of a sudden like in each other's pockets. So I've had quite a few women going, oh my God, he's driving me crazy. I don't know what to do. Like, I can't communicate to him. And then the other biggest thing that I've been noticing is, especially for the women who have got partners who have actually lost their jobs or have been made redundant or stood down, they're really struggling with how to actually support their partners and how to actually, they're finding that their men are kind of shutting down a bit on them. The financial stress and pressure is kind of taking its toll, and the women just don't know how to reach them, don't know how to support them. So they're probably the two biggest things that I've been noticing that people have been talking to me about. But there's also been a level of like loneliness as well, as we were discussing before. Like, there's women who are reaching out and saying, even though we're here, I'm feeling really lonely right now. So yeah, it's like the communication stuff, the stuff around how to actually support their kings, their men, through this time, and understanding what they actually need, and then the financial stresses and stuff on top of that.
Yeah. So I guess you touched on communication. So I think we should go there, because I think now more than ever is a really key time to be able to communicate what we're thinking, feeling, and experiencing. with our partners, husbands, wives, within the home. So what for you is important when it comes to communication within a relationship?
I think the number one thing when there's three components that I believe make a relationship thrive. That's effective communication, vulnerability, and sex. Mm-hmm. And what tends to happen though is that when we're communicating with people, we can often be in a space of victimhood, we can be a space of blame, we can be in the space of why are you doing this to me? What have I done wrong? It becomes very much like a personal attack. Like people forget to actually look outside of our own like little bubbles and go, well, actually, this isn't about me. This is something that's going on for that person, and how can I best support them in that way to go through, like get through whatever it is that they're going through. The communication piece is really, communication is actually more about listening than speaking, and actually being able to hear what your partner is saying, and then learning how to actually communicate and talk back to them so that they can understand what it is that you're trying to say, so they feel heard. Because at the end of the day, we all just want to feel heard, seen, and loved. And if we're not doing that effectively in our communication, then it causes shutdown. So what this can look like, and what this used to look like for me, was that I would go, so something would happen between Gary and I, and rather than the way that I would broach it, I would go to him and I would say, I felt like this when you did this. And as soon as I did that, when you did this, he was just like, shut down. He was like, that's it, I'm done. I can't hear you anymore because I'm feeling criticized, I'm feeling attacked, I'm feeling blamed. Yeah. And I'm the same, right? If Gary comes to me and says, I feel like this because you did this, and I'm like, dude, like, no, we're out, right? Like, you can't actually communicate. And then women wonder why the guys shut down and they don't hear us, and then nothing changes. Because the way we're actually approaching that way, like the way that we speak to them, is I thought I was effectively communicating because I was starting with, this is how I feel. So I was taking responsibility. Yeah. But, sorry. Inside, please. You're not to come in here, please, darlings. Inside, where's Daddy? Sorry, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Harry.
Everyone can understand this now. This is working from home, people. You're all experiencing it.
Inside, please. There's pouches in the cupboard, honey. Oh, my apologies. They're so cute, though. Yeah, so learning how to actually communicate. Sorry, where was I at? I just got completely blindsided.
Yeah, that's okay. So communicating effectively, and so when you were shutting down because of criticism.
Yeah, so I thought that I was actually effectively communicating with Gary in the way that I was taking responsibility. I feel like this, but then still telling him that you did it, and it was still your fault that I felt like that.
Yeah.
So I had to really look at that, because when I found that, I was like, oh my God, I'm actually emasculating him. And men, yes, they're very, very, very much ego-driven, very ego-driven. Some are really aware of it, some aren't. And it's okay. It's just like the masculine. It's what they do. There are essentially, there's three things that they give a fuck, they care about. That's providing for you, being your hero, and having purpose. So the three things. And if he feels like he's failing at any of those, he's just going to be like totally reverting into his man cave and pulling away from you and pulling back from you. So when we can actually learn how to communicate to that masculine brain so that they can actually hear what we say without feeling criticized, it will completely shift. So for me, it was a huge, huge wake-up call, because I was like, oh, but I'm doing the right thing. I'm talking to him really effectively. And why is this still happening? It was really frustrating. And it wasn't until we got help and had a person support us and be like, well, actually, you're criticizing him in the way that you're communicating. So from there, it came a point of, okay, taking total responsibility for what it was and going, okay, I feel like this when this event happened or this experience happened, rather than when you did this. Yeah. And then you can actually, then he's not shutting down, and he's like, oh, okay, cool. And I understand. Because he just wants to make us like men just want to make us happy. They really do. They want to be our hero. So if they ever feel like they're failing in that, they just shut down. They're like, what's the point? I'm not making her happy.
Yeah, absolutely. And so so communication, right? And then you feel like vulnerability is another step in terms of having a healthy, thriving relationship.
Definitely.
So, and of course, so important during this time, because we've gone into absolute fear mode right now. So being vulnerable right now is really important. So what does that look like, and why does that serve us in relationships?
So the reason that vulnerability is so important is because it actually enables us to actually speak our truth from a place of deep ownership, but it actually helps us also to build deeper intimacy, deeper connection. It's scary. It's really, really scary. It supports us in building our relationship with ourselves as well, because it's literally like putting our heart on the line, right? And that can be really scary if you're like afraid of getting hurt or anything like that. And that was something I realized in my relationship, was that I wasn't going all in. I wasn't putting 100% in. I was still holding back. And but that was leading to disconnection, and this was leading to us really not having the deeper intimacy that I was actually really craving. So vulnerability, when we can actually look at ourselves and really take ownership for the things within ourselves that are being stirred. It's like whenever someone triggers us, whenever something happens that upsets us, it's us, right? It's not, we have zero control over what people say to us or what people do. We have total control over how we react or respond. And no one's ever doing anything to us, right? So Gary will do things and he's just doing his thing, but it's never about me. It's not like a personal attack on me, unless he's actually intentionally out to get, and then you know when that is, right? But anything that he kind of does that I react to is mine, is my responsibility. Getting to that point though, where you can actually look at that and step out of the victim, because victimhood is just a form of self-defense. Being like in the blame is constant, it's just defending yourself, is like protecting yourself. So when we can actually step out of that and go, oh, okay, so this happened. Why did this happen? What made me feel like this? And then be able to share that with our partner, to actually allow them to hold us in that. It builds trust, it builds connection, it builds deeper love, it builds deeper intimacy. And it is a practice. If it's not something that you're used to doing, it's something that you get to just gently start leaning into, you know. So if there is something that rises, maybe you are like a woman who feels like she has to be strong all the time, and she has to have it together all the time for her family and her kids. Like there's a lot of women out there, right, that are like that, myself included. The invitation is to allow yourself to soften a little bit and actually like step in, like connect with yourself and ask, okay, what's really going on for me right now? How am I really feeling? And if fear is there, open up the conversation. Hey, baby, I'm really scared right now. And he's going to be like, yes, I get to support my woman. I get to be her hero. I get to make her feel better and hold her and love her. And that's just going to like, he's just going to be like, boom, this is the best thing ever. So really learning, and it does, like I said, it takes practice. And it takes that relationship with self, building the awareness of what's going on inside of your body. Meditation can be really good for this. Breath work can be really good for this. Yoga can even be really good for this. Like when anything kind of stirs within us, it's being curious and going, okay, what's actually coming up here? What's going on? Why have I been triggered by this? Like, why am I actually feeling like this? And then being able to go to our partners and effectively communicate with them and say, hey, when this happened the other day, like when this event happened, this is what it made me feel. And this is why. So this used to be huge for jealousy for me. I was the most jealous person in the world. We would walk down the street. My partners wouldn't even be able to look in the direction of another woman without me like full shutting down and freaking out. And it was purely because I was so terrified of getting hurt. I'd been cheated on. I hadn't healed that past wound. And it wasn't until I started taking responsibility for that and ownership for that and going, hey, baby, like that woman that just walked past, it wasn't about, because it was never about him looking at them. It's always about my feelings about, like in comparison to the woman, my judgment, my self-judgment. It's like, oh, that woman, when I saw her, I just felt so freaking insecure. I felt so like, oh my gosh, her butt is amazing and my butt is saggy, or, you know, her boobs are incredible. Oh my gosh, she's so skinny and I'm not, like, and being able to communicate that rather than being, oh, you looked at her, why don't you go on her? And, you know, like the usual kind of response that I would have had in the past. That actually opens up a different level of love and trust in your relationship. And allows your man to actually step up and support you. But that also comes from like trusting yourself, but learning to trust what he says.
Yes.
And that was a big thing for me. I didn't believe men for a really long time. I didn't trust men for a really long time. So it wasn't until I was like, okay, I'm just going to choose to actually trust and believe what he says.
Yes. Yes.
Until he proves something different.
Yeah, exactly. So let's touch on the feminine, because this might be a concept or a term that a lot of people have not heard here before, potentially. And I think that this will probably provide a lot of answers to frustrations, confusion, and thoughts of those nature. Because what you brought up before, and it relates to vulnerability, right? When it comes to the feminine, this is such a core practice and a core way of being within the feminine. It's really the core foundation, and something that I certainly have had to practice myself, because I was that woman, the strong, independent one. I will do everything myself. I don't trust anyone to do it better.
I don't need no man.
Like, to be seen as vulnerable was weak. All of those thoughts would come up in my mind, and now I don't see it that way. And what happens for me now is that my relationships are 10 times better. My relationship now is phenomenal and amazing because I get to be in that space of vulnerability, and I get to see the power of that and actually the connection that comes from that space.
Yeah.
So why?
I just want to quickly, just cut you off there, but just to differentiate like vulnerability. So for me, vulnerability, I used to believe was the crazy, like flying off the handle, losing my shit, screaming, yelling, slamming doors. Like I was like, I'm being vulnerable. Like this is me and my vulnerability, and I'm like expressing myself. That's not vulnerability. That's reactionary. Yeah. That's complete denial and aversion of what's really going on inside of you. Vulnerability is calm.
Yes.
It's self-reflective. And it's taking on like ownership for what's going on within you without the screaming. And it's like, oh my God, I'm being triggered. Baby, I'm being triggered right now. I need some time to just go and figure out what's going on.
Yes.
And then being able to come back and talk about it rather than flying off the handle. So
I'm so glad that you brought that up, because I know that I've had in my work with parents, but I've had sentences like that, and that they've said, well, I'm expressing my emotions. What more do you want from me? Like, I can do it out. But you're right. The ability piece is the calm, and where it's scary to be that vulnerable. Getting angry is just
easy.
It's easy. That's right. It's reactionary. So I'm really glad that you brought that differentiation up, because I think that's really important. So I guess let's talk about the key foundational aspects of the feminine, and I guess why it's important to understand that when it comes to being in a relationship with a man. And then because most of the audience that we have here is female, so what we're going to do, ladies, is we'll go into the masculine, and then any questions that pop up, we'll answer those at the end. Absolutely. We will not leave them unanswered.
Yeah.
So let's go into the feminine, what it is, and how we can understand it more and connect with our feminine a lot more. So we're at peace and we feel like our true selves.
Yes. So I first want to just preference this with saying, if you are heavily in your masculine, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. You know, we've literally been brought up in a patriarchal system that says if you want to survive in this world, you've got to man up. You've got to be like a man. And that has led a lot of women to feel a fake sense of power. I definitely know that when I've been in my masculine and showing up in that way, I thought I'm powerful, but it's really not. It's a really disconnected, just really clunky way of being. It doesn't feel good in my body. So if that is you and you are heavily in your masculine, that's okay. It's totally okay. And this is just to let you know that, and support you in stepping more into your feminine, because when you actually truly step into your feminine, woo, I don't know about you, girlfriend, but I feel powerful. Like I'm confident. I feel sexy. I'm self-assured. Like I'm in ownership of all that I am. And I'm so much more powerful than when I'm pretending to be like really like stepping into my masculine and kind of putting on that mask of masculinity. So the feminine is defined as she's fluid, she's flow, she's emotional. I had my beautiful psychologist refer to it as the feminine is like the weather. We're changeable. We're constantly flowing, David. We're constantly flowing. We're constantly changing. Like 1 minute it's like Melbourne, right? 1 minute it's sunny. The next it's windy. The next it's storming. Then it's sunny again. And then it's hot. And then it's cold. Like that's essentially the feminine. Whereas the opposite of that, which is the masculine, is like the sun, the moon, and the stars. Calm, consistent, stable. You know exactly what you're going to get day in and day out. It just doesn't really change. And what happens is that, and this has definitely happened in my relationship, was Gary is like very, very much in his masculine, and he's very stable. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you more passionate? Why aren't you showing more emotion? Like going off at him. But then on the opposite of that, I'm like, woo, 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 all over the place. And he's like, I don't trust you. You change your mind all the time. Like, you know who you are. I don't believe what you're saying, because all you're doing is like 1 minute you love me and the next you hate me. And I'm like,
sure,
I don't mean it. Like I meant it in that minute, but I don't mean it now. I really love you right now.
Yeah.
You pissed me off before. Like, it's that real difference, right? And when we don't actually understand that, it can cause a lot of chaos, like a lot of shutting down, a lot of like just retraction, keeping the like arm's length, just completely breakdown of relationship. So understanding the differences, and that it's not a man-woman thing, it's a masculine-feminine thing. This is stuff at a DNA level. This is stuff that's built into us. This isn't stuff that we just kind of make up and pull out of nowhere. This is actually the way that we are designed genetically, right? So as hard as we try to deny those parts of ourselves, or to avoid being the woman who is emotional, who goes up and down, who flows all the time, like she's like water, she's fluid, she's constantly moving and changing and evolving. If we're denying that part of ourselves, we're actually closing ourselves off to experiencing all that there is, like the love, the connection, the intimacy, the relationship that we can actually have with our partner.
Yeah.
But it's also really important that our partner understands that that's what it is too. So when Gary gained the understanding of it, he's like, oh, okay, I get it now. So he actually believes what I say now. Yes. He knows that it's not like to not necessarily trust everything I say, because it's so changeable and it's so like all over the shop, and can be up and down and all over the place.
Yeah.
So the feminine is very much, I believe, and for me it's been a massive journey of surrender and just trust. Surrender into allowing myself to be in that flow, in that like not needing to hold on to everything, not needing to control, not needing to have all the answers, but learning how to just be in the flow and trusting and listening, developing the relationship with myself. So I've got the intuition, being connected to my body. It's really important for us women to be connected to our bodies, and to learn how to trust and hear what they are telling us, so that we can navigate. A lot of the time, if I don't have an answer to a question, it's literally I close my eyes and I ask it, and the first thing that comes through is my answer. And it never goes wrong. What's meant for me will never miss me. So the feminine is very much flow, not the stable, the rigid, the consistent, the bore, like the flat kind of boring. We're very like all over the place and flowy, and it's beautiful.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Perfect. So I guess if we, because I was definitely the same, I needed support in terms of I definitely felt like I was in my masculine quite a bit, and to to connect more with my intuition, my body, my heart as well, right? So coming from a space of love and compassion more than rigid and controlling, because yes, it's just a strategy to be safe. It is. That's all it is.
And it's just something that we've been taught. And I think too, like we've been taught as women that our femininity is weak, and it's not. Like that's just a story. So if you've got that story running, it's time to change that. Being a woman, being a feminine woman is really strong. It's not all like earrings and long flowy hair and billowing dresses. It's essence. It's inside of us. It's not anything external. That's like not a side effect, but that's like a what's the word I'm looking for? Baby brain's got me all messed up with words. I can't find them. It's like,
do you mean like the clothing and the earrings is like a symptom of being in your feminine?
Yeah, kind of like a symptom, but it's like a result of it. Just kind of automatically happens. Like, I love wearing it because it makes me feel bright and fun and bright colors and stuff.
Yeah,
it also makes me feel really feminine and girly. But I've got that feminine, like that feeling within myself prior to putting the stuff on.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. I know for me, many years, if like the idea of having anything pink near me, or you know, like to be honest, even this color, right? This is just a soft purple. Then absolutely not. Get it away from me.
Resistance.
No. Total resistance. My wardrobe consisted of blacks, khaki color, black. Just really block colors, and pants. Always pants. And it's interesting, when I started to connect in with the softer side of me, the more loving side, the feminine side of me, the days that I went for the pants were the days that I wanted to feel strong, and I wanted to feel like I had everything in order and I had control over everything. So it's very interesting when you start tapping in and becoming aware of your reactions to things and what's coming out in you. It's
we're realizing too and remembering too that we have masculine and feminine energies within us.
Yes.
Like, there is a balance, but it's when we're leaning too much into one. And what actually often will happen in a relationship is that we'll go into relationships, a woman will be heavily in her feminine and a man will be in his masculine, he'll be leading and doing all of these things. And then eventually, like over time, resentment or frustration starts to build, or we get like annoyed, and the woman starts stepping into her masculine. And this can look like just kind of taking control of everything and organizing everything. And what this does is actually pushes the man into his feminine.
Yeah.
And then we go, well, this is really unattractive. I don't want to have sex with you anymore. Like, I'm not turned on by you anymore. Like, what is wrong with you? Where is my man gone? And the man's going, I don't want to have sex with you anymore. You're like a man. I'm not turned on by that now. Like, I want my beautiful woman back.
Yeah.
And it creates this divide between us, this wedge. And we can pull ourselves, and that's by choice, right? Because women have this thing where like stuff needs to be done, right? And we can't. Guys are so much more chill, I think. There's some guys, obviously not all, I'm not like putting this on all, but a lot of men are very much just like, they're single focused. Their focus is on pleasure. If they're doing something that they like and they're having fun and they're having a good time, then they're not going to be racing to go and do the dishes for you or tidy up, unless you learn how to actually communicate with them in a way that triggers that provider in them.
Yes.
But what happens is that we end up in our masculine, our men end up in feminine. We don't want to have sex, we lose connection, we just get more and more frustrated at each other, and then eventually the relationship breaks down. When really we get to actually look at it and go, okay, so am I in my feminine right now, or am I in my masculine? How am I showing up? I'm huge on radical self-responsibility. Like, how am I showing up in this? What am I bringing to the table right now? What part am I playing in this? And if you notice that you're constantly like, you want him to like message you and say, hey baby, put your red dress on, I'm picking you up at 7, or this is what we're doing tonight, or, you know, if you're wanting him to do that, you've got to actually create space and allow him to do that. But also, when he does do it, appreciate it. So a lot of the time, women will be like, I want my man to organize dates for me and take me out. And when he does it, we're like, oh, no, I don't want to do that. Oh, no, that's not right. Let's do this instead. And we shut it down. We emasculate them. And they go, oh, well, fuck, I've got it wrong again. So I'm just not going to bother. So it's really important, if you're wanting your partner to step into that, into his masculinity more, to lead, because it's very much like for him to lead you. And this is something I think a lot of women struggle with too, is like, if you're leading me, you're controlling me. And that's what it's not. He's just in his masculine. It makes him feel good. But what's wrong with being led a little bit? Yeah. You'll actually really fucking enjoy it if you allow yourself. Sorry, I swore. If you allow yourself to. It's just like, oh yeah. There's so much that we could go into on this.
Yeah. And there's a lot to unpack in that, and everything that you've just said is, you know, it definitely resonates with me as well. So, you know, a lot of the parents that I work with, so I only work with mother and father collectively, and, you know, we always end up going into relationship stuff, and that's perfect and it needs to happen. Yeah. So, and often it is around communication has broken down, the connection has broken down, It's so interesting. Last couple of my clients, the parents, it's, date night hasn't been organised for years. I just want him to do it. I just want him to do it. And yes, we have to go into everything that you've just shared. So
what you want as well.
Yeah.
Like, say, baby, I want you to organise a date night for us this week. And he'll be like, yes. And then whatever he organises, just be like, amazing, yes, and appreciate and pour gratitude onto that.
Yes.
You want him to keep doing it. If you don't want him to do it ever again, criticise. Shut him down.
That's right. Praise is really important.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to get them to start creating those new habits.
That's right. Exactly. Because he does want to please you, and it is scary to make that first move with the potential of disappointing you if you haven't been on a date night in years.
Yeah, and especially if he's felt criticised in the past.
That's right. Exactly. That's right. So what's some of the first steps that I guess women can take to starting, being more in that encouraging mindset, and I guess more in their feminine, so they can start to see those sides that maybe they once saw in their husband or their partner, and they want to see again, or they want to create that within their partners.
Yeah, beautiful. So self-awareness is a really big thing, and really just I invite you to just take some time to sit back and really get honest with yourself and look at the way that you've been showing up in the relationship. Like, how have you been treating him? Have you been treating him in the way that you want to be treated? Yeah. For me, it was a massive realization of, like, I had stopped giving to him. I'd stepped into a space of just take. You're not doing this for me. You're not supporting me in this way. You're not helping me. You're not pleasuring me. It's all about you. And I'm like, whoa, actually, it's all about me. So that was a huge realization for me. Yeah. And to actually step out of that and go, okay, well, what can I actually give? Rather than making it about what I'm getting, what can I actually give right now?
Yes.
Huge. But there's a lot of people that, resentment builds and frustration builds, and it's like, well, screw you, I'm not going to do anything for you. It's like, that's not getting you anywhere. It's certainly not going to get you what you want.
No.
So it's like really taking that step back, getting out of the ego, getting out of the you owe me, or the taking things personally, because I think that's another huge thing, is that we take that personally when it's not necessarily always about us. It's really tough. Like getting over ourselves, essentially. Looking at the part that we are playing in our relationship experience, and asking, like, getting real and being honest and saying, is this actually how I want to be in my relationship? Is this the kind of person that I envisage being? Am I being my best self? And if not, getting really clear on what that actually looks like. Like, what is your perfect day? What does your perfect relationship look like? What's the perfect day? And that's a beautiful task you can do. Is like, what's the perfect day? How do you want to give to your partner? How do you want your partner to feel?
Yes.
Because what we give is what we get, right? It happens automatically.
That's
right. Taking that time to actually take responsibility, look at what's going on within you. Because, and also too, like, I think a lot of women come to me and they're like, but my partner doesn't want to get help. And I'm like, that's okay. Because when you start shifting yourself and what's going on within you, he will start shifting automatically. Things will start changing automatically. Because he'll be like, oh, this is a different energy. Oh, okay. And he'll either rise up to meet you, or he won't. And then you get to decide whether or not it's right for you. But you get to have conversations and everything all along the way. It's not just like a thing. But it's really, like stepping into that self-ownership, staying in your own lane, being clear on what it is that you want, how you've been showing up.
Yeah.
Are you being vulnerable? Are you being honest? Are you being loving? Are you giving the kind of love you wish to receive? And if not, then what gets to change in order for you to start bringing that in? If you're heavily in your masculine, what does define femininity for yourself? Look at that. What does being in your feminine feel like and look like? What are the stories that you're carrying around that? Do you believe that femininity makes you weak? If so, where does that story come from? And is it what you truly believe? Who are the women that you admire who are deeply in their feminine and are strong and powerful? Beyonce, prime example, so in her feminine, so freaking powerful. So really looking outside and going, okay, seeking those kind of examples, or seeking those people that you can look at and go, oh, okay, cool, she's feminine and beautiful and she's powerful. Okay, so maybe I can start playing in that. Really getting clear on what that looks like for you. And maybe it was as simple as putting some earrings on that can actually trigger the feeling of femininity for you.
Yes, that's how I had to start. That's how I had to start. It was wearing dresses and only buying pretty floral things at the shops. I made a deal with myself, because I didn't know what it felt like. I wasn't too sure. So I started from that, and totally, it really pushed me into understanding, okay, wow, this is how it feels. Okay, great. I can still be powerful in this. That's wonderful. So then you really start to practice. Yeah, that's a great tip.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Did that answer your question?
Yes, I think all of those tips so important and really important reflective questions.
Yeah.
And I especially, I think the ones are, what does femininity even look like? But also the one, what love am I showing? Really being aware of what you're showing your partner, husband, wife, whatever it is, because you're right, whatever you give, you will get back.
They're just a reflection of us, right?
That's right, exactly. So let's, a lot of, like you have said, and I know we've spoken about this, and a lot of the mothers that I work with, they are very concerned about their husbands, and they're showing up in all of these different emotions at the moment. They're frustrated, they're angry, they're shut down. Their core purpose is to provide for their family, and it's really being challenged at the moment.
Yeah.
So when a man has gone into that complete fear mode, and when they have completely shut down, what's really important for the women listening to do, or to be in that space to really support their husbands as best as they can?
Yeah, beautiful. First thing is give them the space that they need, right? So if he's shutting down on you going at him constantly is going to make him shut down even more. Talk to me. Why won't you talk to me? Tell me what's going on. Ask him what he needs. What do you need from me right now, baby? And if he says, I just need some time alone, give him the time alone. Like, listen to what he says. This is where it's like the communication stuff is really important. But letting him know that I'm here for you. I love you. You are our king. You are our hero. And then setting him up for a bit of success in the home as well, right? So really stepping into appreciation, stepping into acknowledging what he is doing so that we can activate that masculine within him again. Because it is like he has the provider in him, like, I'm covered in goosebumps because it's so ingrained.
Yes.
At like a DNA level, like he just wants to provide. So if he feels like he can't provide for his family, he's in full freak out right now. And full, like, he's in his head, he's probably like full beating himself up, he's freaking out, he's feeling like he's failing, like, I'm covered in goosebumps. Makes me really sad. I feel for men so much, like, so it's really important to be there for him, let him know that you are there for him, let him know that he is loved and supported, give him what he needs, but also allowing, like, creating the space for him to be really, like, stepping up at home and honoring and appreciating that. It's about what you give again, right? It's about giving. It's not pressuring him to talk, not pushing him, letting him know that you're there when he's ready. And just giving him whatever the space is that he needs.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of women, when men shut down, they keep pushing. They keep pushing, and that's the worst thing you can do.
Step back. It makes them feel uncomfortable. More than anything. And I think with what you're saying around have them successful in the home, and I guess, a really just the important piece that we've been talking about is just the criticism piece. So if there's more criticism within the home, he's already feeling like he's failing everywhere anyway. So that's just not going to be helping at this time.
Another thing to understand with men too, I'm giving you so many tips, is that they actually don't know how to articulate what they feel the way that women do. So we expect them to be able to just be like, you and I would be like, I'm feeling really emotional, I'm feeling really sad and frustrated and angry and blah, blah, blah. But they actually, and this is a lot of societal stuff, but there's a bit of like genetic stuff in there, like as well, but they actually struggle quite often to put into words what they're feeling. That's why they need to retreat into their space so they can figure it out in their head. It takes them a bit longer, right? So we get to step into patience.
Yes.
This is where the understanding of men and women is so important. It's so important in your relationships to actually understand the difference between the masculine and the feminine. Because when you understand that, then you can actually learn how to relate to each other, which is what we're all in, right? We're in relationships.
Yes.
But we're not taught this stuff.
No.
And it's not right. This should be in schools. Like, it's literally, we train for everything, right? We train for work, we train for sports, we train for like everything. But the one thing we don't train for or learn before is relationships. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. And they're the one thing that we're all craving the most.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I think they're really perfect tips. Thanks, Nikki. Yeah. So I'll go to the question. So we've got one question. So yes, and this is just, I know that you'll completely understand this, because it makes me smile looking at it, just because I've heard it so often too. So my partner is a fixer. He can't handle just holding space for me or listening. He needs solutions to the problems.
Yeah.
Is there something that you can recommend around that? So yes, go for it. I don't
tell him what you need. Baby, I just need you to listen. So there's a thing called man language, that I call man language, where there's certain words that trigger the brain and the masculine. And need is one of them. So if you can say to him, and this is another big thing for women, is like, I don't need no man, I'm independent. Like, to be able to step into needing someone is also vulnerability, right? It's a big thing. But when we actually say that word, it triggers his brain into hearing what we're saying. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So if you say to him, baby, I just need you to listen to me right now, he's going to be like, oh, okay, I don't need to fix her. Because essentially, if we go to him with a problem, because his whole thing is to provide and make us happy and be our hero, he's like, okay, she's got a problem, I need to fix it for her, and I can be her hero. And
yeah.
Whereas if we say to him, baby, I don't need it to be fixed, but I just need you to listen to me. I just need to get this out. And he'll be like, oh, okay, cool. She doesn't need me to fix it. I'm going to be her hero just by listening.
Yeah.
So try that, my love, and let me know how you go. Feel free to reach out and let me know how you go. But just using that word and just letting them, it's like asking for what you want. It's in everything in life, right? Like, ask for what you want, but using that word need, because it's going to trigger that part of his brain that's going to switch on, and he'll be like, oh, okay, I hear you. Yeah. Cool, let's go.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, definitely that they are innately problem solvers.
Yes.
So of course that's his natural way of being, and he's going to bring that to you.
Yeah. So, and because he's like, this is going to make her happy. If I can fix this,
that's right.
She's going to be so happy.
Yes. So I like to, well, first of all, if anybody wants to hear more from you, Nikki, where is the best place for them to catch you and get in contact with you?
Yeah, beautiful. So just add me as a friend on Facebook, and I also have a group called Love Unleashed, which I generally can add you to. So if you want to just reach out, add me on Facebook, say that you saw this live, and I can add you into the group, and you can come and join and learn more about men and man language and relating and all the beautiful, amazing things, effective communication, all that.
Perfect. Yeah. So I finished with 2 questions. So the first question is, in the last couple of weeks, the changes have been dramatic for families, for everybody. Actually, it doesn't matter who you are. The changes are dramatic, and it's been a roller coaster ride of emotions. Nobody can deny that. Mm-hmm. But for you, what have been the opportunities in all of these changes? So with what is now in our current reality, your current reality, because yours will be different to mine. What are the opportunities for you personally, professionally, whatever, as a mum, as a woman? What has shown up for you as just an amazing opportunity?
It's been, okay, so there's a couple of things, but the first thing that covers across the board is the slowing down. Like I didn't realize how go I was, and how non-present I was, especially in my home life with my kids. I was constantly thinking about work or what I needed to do next, and this has been such a gift for me to just slow down.
Yes.
Stop, to be present, to do baking and coloring and stuff with my kids, which I wasn't doing before.
Yeah.
I was just constantly on the go. Like Gary would get home, I'd go to work. Like, it was just constant. Even if I was with my kids, I was on my phone and doing work. So that's been huge. Slowing down, presence, and collaboration. Yeah. Like, the support, like the coming together of humans, and that the light that's just being shone on humanity is just so beautiful. I'm just loving it. Like everything that the world is now reaping, the benefits the world is now reaping. I've got goosebumps again. Like we are just, there's so many gifts in this experience, and I'm so grateful to actually be alive at this time. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, perfect. And for you, what does a happy home look like and feel like?
Oh, wow. You know, we have moments of a really beautiful, content, calm, happy home. And then we have moments of chaos and madness and yelling and, you know, the things that we deem as wrong. And I guess for me is a happy home means allowing all of it, allowing the humanness of life. Because you know what? I'm an incredible mother. I love my kids so much, and sometimes I yell at them because they piss me off. Like, they drive me crazy. But that's okay too, and it's like not beating myself up about that. And there's times where Gary's like, I look at him and like, oh my God, you're an amazing father. And then there's times where he's losing his shit too. And it's like, it's okay. It's totally okay. But it's the taking ownership of it, and the saying sorry when you need to. And then really, I think the presence piece is huge. Like, probably my biggest learning at the moment is being present.
Yes.
You know, and that creates, I think happiness is such a broad, well-rounded thing, that to expect the house to be happy and joyful all the time and like Stepford wife stuff is not real for me. This is my personal experience.
Yeah.
A happy home is encompassing all of it, without the expectation, without the self-judgments, and just love, like just know it, letting my kids know and my partner know that I love them regardless of everything.
Yeah, beautiful. That's so nice. Yep, absolutely. I feel that. So we've come to an end. We've done an amazing job. We've gone for a while today. So
I could talk about this stuff forever.
I know. It's just it's such a wonderful topic. It really is. So anybody who is watching, if you have questions, then pop them in the comments, of course, and Nikki and I will definitely get to them. And other than that, you know, I've got 2 more amazing speakers, one at 12 and one at 2:30. And I promise you that there's still so much value to come for the rest of the day.
Thank you for creating this. It's so beautiful. I'm getting so much out of it, like watching the other speakers as well. It's just, it was really needed. So I honor you. Thank you, sister.
Thank you. It's definitely been a wonderful experience to organise this and have everybody come together. Like you said, collaboration has been so beautiful. So enjoy the next hour or so that you have, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, and we will connect with you all very soon. Bye, Nikki.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.